Hi guys, it's Tara. I'm here in our dance studio to record a little bit of yoga sequence with you. This is going to be a full 45-minute sequence. We'll warm up a little bit. We'll do some standing postures, maybe a few balances, and then cool down as well. I'm going to link a playlist in the description box here that you can use to play along. It's on Spotify. Otherwise, just play your own music in the background, or sometimes silence is really nice too. We're going to get started in child's pose today. So for child's pose, I like a nice wide knee position, hips back on the heels, and the chest and forehead coming down. If you're like me and you're a little tight, a block underneath the forehead works really nice. So once you find your position, start by taking a few really nice deep breaths in and out. Breathe in through the nose and exhale it away. Do that a couple more times. Inhale and exhale. Trying to find some release in the body, some length in the spine, in the hips, in the lower back. As you start to focus on your breath, just notice if you're holding any tension somewhere in your body, like your shoulders, your neck, maybe even your jaw. Open and close your jaw a few times. Kind of move your head side to side to loosen up your neck. Let the shoulders relax away from the ears. Just find some of those places that we tend to hold tension in throughout the day and give them a little extra release. And then also just allow your mind to kind of center in here in this space with you and your breath and in your body. Anything else that you've been thinking about, try to leave it behind just for this short amount of time. Just give yourself a few minutes out of your day to not think about your to-do lists, to not think about work, to not think about chores. Just give yourself a few good deep breaths. Once you're feeling nice and settled in that child's pose, we're going to find a little stretch side to side here. So take your hands over to the right side of your mat. Extend that left arm nice and long. Maybe you want to stay a little lifted away from the heels here. And just find some deep breath. Really reaching that left arm forward and kind of sinking the body down toward the mat. A couple more times. Inhale and exhale down. One more. Big breath in. And exhale it away. Come back to the center, and then all the way over to the other side. So I'm reaching my right arm forward and kind of on a diagonal here. My left arm is pulling back toward me, and really reach the fingertips. Inhale, exhale, let the body sink down a little bit here. Inhale, reach, and exhale, sink away. A couple more times. Inhale, exhale. Let's do one more big breath. And then come all the way back to center. Coming up to your hands and your knees this time. You can take your block away if you've been using that. Just find a little movement side to side in the hips. Maybe forward and backward. And stretching, testing the wrists out a little bit here. And then centering on the hands and the knees. We'll find a few deep breaths in cat and cow pose. So on your inhale, let your belly drop toward the ground. Lift the gaze forward. Press the heart forward. Exhale, draw the belly button in and up. Tuck the chin, round the back. Again, inhale. Look forward, lift the gaze. Exhale, draw that belly up and in. And tuck the chin. A couple more times, inhale. And exhale. Good. Inhale again. And exhale. Round back. Coming back to a neutral position with the spine. Maybe walk forward a little bit so the hands are a little closer to the top of the mat. Send the left leg behind you. Send it really nice and long. And then press into the heel here. Use your hands to kind of move yourself back a little bit. Stretch the calf muscle. And then come back to center, shifting your shoulders back over your wrists. Tuck your right toes here and see if you can hover your right knee above the mat. Giving yourself a little bit of a core challenge. If you want to, you can even pick that whole leg off the mat. Take another deep breath in. Exhale, lower the knee. Bring the left knee back in. Extend the right leg behind you this time. Press into the heel. Push away from the hands. Good. Give it a nice stretch through that calf. Shifting the shoulders back over the wrists. Tuck the left toes. Lift the left knee away from the mat. Hover there. Draw the belly up and in. Maybe lift the whole foot off the floor. Come back to the mat. Inhale. Exhale, knees down. Nice job. This time we're reaching our left leg back behind. Right arm forward. Maybe take both limbs away from the mat here. Just holding and balancing. Lift the belly up and in. Deep breath. Inhale. Exhale. Draw everything together underneath the body. Inhale. Reach out nice and long. Exhale. Draw it all in. Inhale. Reach out. One more. Exhale. Draw it in. Inhale. Reach out. Good. Hand the knee back to the mat. We'll do the same thing on the opposite side. So right leg long this time. Left arm. Lift both limbs away from the mat. Breathe in. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, reach. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, reach it up. One more time. Exhale. Inhale. And then release back down to the mat. We're going to find downward facing dog here. If that's not your jam, go ahead and go back to child's pose. It's an excellent alternative. So let's tuck the toes, press away from the front part of the body, lift the hips up high. So I'm pushing my weight back toward my feet. I'm keeping my knees nice and bent. And I'm keeping my heels off the floor for now. Then I'm just going to let my hips kind of sway side to side gently. Finding some movement in my hips and my lower back. And then I'm going to center again. And I'm going to see if I can just let my heels release toward the floor a little bit. As you release the heels, see if you can lift the toes. Really getting some extension through the back of the leg there. Let's hold that for one more breath. Good. And then bend the knees again. Take your gaze forward to the top of your mat. Gently walk your feet to the top of the mat, finding a forward fold. I do like a couple of blocks underneath my hands. My forward fold, my hands do touch the floor, but I really like the stability of the blocks and the availability of being able to bend my elbows and just really release into this stretch. So tuck your chin to your chest here, gaze through the thighs. Notice my knees are nice and bent. I'm trying to point my hips up toward the sky, but I'm keeping my belly nice and contracted or resting on my thighs, really folding everything in, letting my weight fall toward the floor in this fold. Let's take one more breath. Then we're going to find a little bit of twist here at the bottom. So I'm going to keep my left hand planted. I'm going to lift my right arm up toward the ceiling. I'm going to bend my knees a lot as I do that. Turn your gaze toward the side or all the way up toward your hand. Let's inhale. Exhale, bring that hand back to your block. And then same thing on the left side. Left arm up toward the ceiling, peel it away. Bend the knees, gaze to the side or all the way up to that hand. Inhale. Exhale, fold back forward. Good. Deep breath in and out at the bottom. We're going to inhale, find our halfway lift position. Hands to the blocks or to the knees or shins. Really reaching the tail behind you, lifting the belly up and in. Inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise, pressing into the floor, bending the knees. Nice long spine, arms up overhead. Hands down through heart center and then by your sides. Standing up nice and tall here in mountain pose. And I think about your feet really pressing firmly into the mat. I'm going to walk my feet a tiny bit closer. You want to think about 2 fist distance between your feet. And then really press all 10 toes down. Lift some energy up away from that into your thighs. into your lower belly. Let's roll the shoulders up toward the ears. Breathe in. Exhale, press the shoulder blades down the spine. And just stand up nice and tall. Take up some space for yourself here. Feel really grounded and strong. Tall. One more breath. We're going to move through a little bit slower sun salutation, and then we'll pick up the pace. So reach the arms up. Inhale. Exhale, you're going to bend over to the right side of the room. Keep the arms nice and long. You can keep them separated or hands together. Inhale, stand up tall. Exhale, bend over to the left, finding just a nice space in the side body there. Inhale, lift the gaze in the heart. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Bend the knees as you go down. Good. Inhale to that halfway lift position. Exhale, fold forward. We're going to plant our hands to the mat here and step back. I'm going to show you a modified tabletop version of sun salutation first, and then we can move through a more, a more traditional version next. So once you step back to that tabletop, you'll inhale to cow pose. It's our nice back bend here. And then exhale, either come to child's pose, or you can tuck your toes and join us in downward facing dog. Good. Let's take 2 deep breaths. In our downward dog, finding stillness if that feels right for you, or maybe shifting the hips side to side again, paddling the feet. 1 more big breath in and out. And then bend the knees, come up onto the toes, look forward, walk forward as you exhale. Inhale to your halfway lift position. Exhale, fold again. Inhale, rise up strong. Bring the hands through heart center, exhaling them down to your sides. 1 more time, moving through that sun salutation. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, bend to the right. Inhale, stand. Exhale to the left. Inhale, stand, look up. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale and halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands, either come back to your tabletop position or come to a full plank this time. Lifting the knees away from the floor. We're gonna hold just for a moment to really push into the floor. Feel nice and wide and broad in the back. Lift in the belly. Inhale. Exhale, lower down to your low plank. I'm gonna drop my knees and come all the way down to the ground. We'll all come all the way down to the ground to start. We're gonna do low cobra pose first here. So inhaling, draw the shoulder blades back and down. Elbows are hugged in nice and tight. My hands are light. I'm just using my back. My legs are active, pressing into the mat. My belly is active, lifting up and away. 1 more big breath here. And then come back down. Exhale. Inhale, push to your child's pose or tabletop. And then tuck the toes, find downward dog. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, step or walk. Step or jump forward, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up tall. Bring the hands through heart center and then down by your sides. 1 more time, sun salutation A. Here we go. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands. Step back to your tabletop position or high plank. Inhale. Exhale, lower to the mat. Inhale, lift the heart. Maybe pressing the hands a little bit this time. Exhale, fold forward. And come back up to your knees. Tuck your toes, find downward dog. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, step forward, fold. Good. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Rising tall. Bring the hands back to heart center. Good, deep breath in, lengthen the spine. Exhale, sink to chair pose here. Now I'm gonna keep my feet separated. However, you can step your feet together. The most important thing is feet separated or not, you wanna make sure your knees are going right out over your toes. So if you have a tendency, if you feel like you're pushing the knees in together, but your feet are separated, just step your feet together, and then you can squeeze everything into that midline. If your feet are separated, that's fine. Just then feel like you're pushing into the outside edges of the thighs there. Let's take 1 more breath, then we'll move on since you've been here. Good, inhale and exhale. On your next inhale, peel that left foot away from the floor. Exhale, step it back, find a nice big wide crescent lunge. Reach the arms up high. Good. Another breath. Find the evenness in the hips here. Pull the pelvis up and forward. My back leg is going to stay bent. Inhale. Exhale, we're going to twist here. Left arm forward, right arm behind. Really reaching in 2 directions. Good. Finding some nice length through the arms. Lift through the belly. Inhale, back up. Exhale, hands to heart center, lean forward. You're going to step back to chair pose. So launch yourself back, away from the back of the mat. Come back into chair. Lift through the lower belly here. Support the spine. Weight is in the heels. Take the arms up high this time. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Inhale, peel the right foot away from the floor. Exhale, reach it back. Step back, crescent lunge. Really bend into that left leg. I'm finding a bend through my right leg. It just has to do with the flexibility through your hip and thigh on the right side. So you want to feel a good stretch there. Deep breath in. Exhale, right arm forward, left arm behind. Reaching in 2 directions again. You can turn your gaze to the side or keep it forward, helps with the balance a little bit. Good, come back to center, breathe in. Hands to heart center, lean forward, we're coming back to chair pose again. Woo. Good, last few breaths here in chair pose. Let's reach the arms up. Exhale, bend the elbows, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Inhale up. Exhale, bend the elbows, squeeze them together. Good, stand up tall this time, breathe in. Woo! Exhale, fold all the way forward. Good. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands to the mat. Step back to your high plank or tabletop position. Inhale, exhale, cat-cow or cobra, right? Good. Child's pose or tuck the toes, spine, downward dog. Take a breath. Big one in and out. Very nice. Let's come back to our knees. I'm going to stretch those hips out a little bit in the thighs. So we work those. Swing that right leg to the front of the mat. And then sit up nice and tall. Yeah, let your hips kind of sink forward and down as you come into that stretch. So I'm feeling a little bit of a stretch across my left hip and thigh here. Yeah. Okay. You're going to find a little twist here, so come back up slightly. Turn your shoulders again toward that right thigh. So my left hand is sneaking to the outside of the thigh. My right hand is just on my hip. And I'm turning my shoulders. I'm squeezing those inner thighs together to keep my hips nice and square. Good. Come back to center. Let's walk that right foot out a little bit. Bring the hands down on the inside of the body. Just for a short little lizard stretch here. Now we're going to find a twist here as well. So take your right hand to the inside of your thigh. And then again, if you want to, reach the arm up to the ceiling. Finding a nice, long, wide position. Bring the hands back down. Swing that right leg back around to your tabletop or downward facing dog. You can downward dog between the two here. Left foot comes forward for the same few stretches. So bring your upper body up first. And then slowly start to sink into the front of the stretch. So you want to think about your knee and your ankle bone being in line here. You don't want to have your foot too far back and then sink over your toes. Put just a little bit too much pressure on the knees. So just walk the foot forward and then kind of sink in. You can leave your back foot down here or you can tuck your toes. Changes the sensation of the stretch slightly for me. It might not do anything for you. So maybe just be curious about it. If you like it, you can keep it. If you don't, you can leave it out. Okay, let's come back up just a little bit, and then we're finding that twist on this opposite side here. So right hand sneaks to the left thigh. My left hand is just on my hip back here. And I'm thinking about turning my rib cage. So from my rib cage up, my inner thighs are squeezing together toward the midline. Find some nice squareness in the hips. Come back to center. One hand, our hands come to the inside of this posture this time. Left knee kind of walks away or opens up a little bit. Finding a lower position here. And then finding a twist here as well. Left hand to the left thigh, inner thigh. I'm just resting and I'm not putting pressure there. And then maybe reaching up toward the ceiling. Let's Let's come back down. Bring that left knee back. Sneak it back around there. And then just find some gentle movement through the hips. Child's pose-ish kind of wiggle. Little circles there. Great, come back to your hands, tuck your toes, find downward dog. Let's keep moving. Take the right leg up toward the ceiling here. As you exhale, draw the knee into the chest, shift the weight forward. Inhale, back up. Exhale, do that again. Inhale, draw it back up. One more exhale, draw it in. Plant the foot on the mat. And then we're gonna rise up to warrior two. So I'm pivoting that back heel down. I'm gonna cartwheel my arms all the way up. Good. Sink into the right knee. I guess sink isn't the right word. You wanna be active, so bend into the right knee. Feel nice and supported there. Press into the outer edge of the left foot. And then press into the outside of the right knee. So don't let the knee fall in, but push out. Arms stretch wide, gaze over the right hand. 3 times we're gonna inhale, lift up. Exhale, sink down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, sink down. One more time, inhale up. Exhale, sink. Legs stay, arms reverse, warrior, breathe in. Breathe out. See if you can stretch that right leg a little bit. Bend back into the knee, come back to warrior two. Inhale, reach that right arm forward. Exhale, find side angle pose. Right arm to the right thigh. Left arm reaching tall. I'm not putting any pressure on that elbow, so I'm not sinking in there. I'm either pushing away or I'm not using it at all. Good, come back to warrior two. Bring the hands down to frame that right foot. Pivot the back heel. Let's step back to downward facing dog. That same postures here on the left side. Left leg comes up, breathe in. We're coming in with the knee. Inhale, reaching high. Exhale, draw the knee in. Inhale, reach up. One more. Exhale, draw it in. This time, plant it on the mat. Pivot that right heel down. And then come all the way up to your warrior two. Again, bend into the left knee. Feet are really firm in the mat here. I'm pushing into the outer edge of my right foot. Really sinking in. Feeling nice and wide and stretched through my hips and thighs. Open through my shoulders and arms. 3 times, big lunges here. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. One more. Inhale up. Exhale down. Legs stay. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Hold. Inhale. Straighten the right leg. So it's your left leg. Exhale, bend, come back to warrior two. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, find side angle pose. Left elbow to the thigh. Right arm reaching high. Good, deep breath in and out there. Make sure you're not putting pressure on that elbow. Come back to warrior two. Bring the hands down around that left foot or on the inside, whatever is more comfortable for you. Find downward dog. Deep breath in and out. Okay, let's step the feet forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up tall. Bring the hands through heart center and then down by your sides. Okay, take a nice deep breath in and out. It's a lot of work. We're gonna do a couple balance postures and then we'll come down to the floor and do some seated stretches. So we're gonna start with just a nice tree pose to get us on one leg. So we'll shift all of our weight over to the right foot here. I'm gonna grab a block so I can show you another option for lifting the leg in tree pose. But first, I really like you to shift all of your weight over to the side. I'm gonna keep my arms down by my side, but you can place them wherever they feel comfortable for you to start. Okay, and then typically I just bring my left foot in a little bit, find like a little kickstand. This could be your tree pose today. This could be it. You could stay right here. Keep feeling the energy coming down through the right foot, really grounding you in. Lift through the belly, get a little taller. Or you can start to draw the left foot away from the floor, bringing it to your calf, to your inner thigh, or even stepping the toes to the very top of a block. So you can still allow a little bit of hip opening here. And true one-legged balance with just still some support. If you'd like to, you can reach your arms up, freeing the space around your diaphragm here to really breathe in and out. A couple more times. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Breathe in, get taller. Exhale, bring your hands through heart center. Back down by your sides, release the left foot. Okay, so shake it out a little bit. Step back and forth. We're gonna do the same thing on the left side. So I'm gonna leave my block where it is, and I really am gonna shift my weight over. So you wanna think about almost taking a step, because it really allows your brain to make the neurological pathways to stay on one leg. Find a kickstand lightly with your toes, and then really focus on pushing down through the big toe and the outer edge of the foot on the left side to ground in. And then for even more support, lift through the center of the body. Get a little bit taller and lift away. So there's some nice down energy and then this up energy through the rest of the body. You can bring the foot away from the floor here. Or again to our block prep or to the inner thigh, whatever is feeling right for you today. And continue to feel that oppositional energy, that down with the up, right? Reach the arms up high, breathe in. Allow for some space now in the diaphragm. Notice how you're breathing. Breathe side to side, forward and backward. One more, inhale. Exhale, good, deep breath in. Exhale, bring the hands through heart center. Down by the sides, release the right foot. Step back and forth a few times. Really nice job. Okay, we're gonna move into a sequence balance, meaning that we will sequence two, let's do three. We're gonna do 3 balances together here today. I'm gonna do it with the blocks. You could do it completely without the blocks and just balance on one leg. But have the blocks ready. And again, if you don't have blocks, books, whatever makes a little height for you. The seat of a chair also works awesome for this. Just pull the chair to the front of your mat. That would be a really good help too here. And I'm gonna place the blocks just like this at the top of my mat. I'm gonna face this way again, so when we move, you can see. And we're gonna start with eagle pose. This is one of my favorites. It's a really nice, tight bind. You can do the legs just like you would in chair pose if the crossing of the legs isn't appropriate for you or if it's not comfortable. But we're gonna bind the arms first. So we're gonna stand on our right leg, so we're gonna bind with the left arm underneath. And you can do a single bind by just giving yourself a big hug. My elbows are stacked here. Or you can do a double bind by continuing that cross and pressing the palms together. Now I've got my fingers hooked on my thumb because that's about as far as I can get. That's fine. But you want to think about drawing those elbows in and crossing each other. And then inhale, peel the left foot away from the floor. Press the right foot down. So we've done a one-legged balance. We're practicing that now. Cross the legs. Sink the hips back and down just like you would in chair pose. You can use a block again for this here. Placing the foot on the blocks instead of crossing. You want to lift through the lower belly, just like you do in chair. Sink the hips a little deeper, and then lift the elbows away from the heart. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Lots of things to think about here, right? Now breathe in and breathe out. Okay, we're going to move into warrior 3 from here. So press into that right foot, unbind the arms, maybe tap the toe behind you, just find your balance. You can also do this without touching the floor too. And then start to fold forward from that right hip. Switch your gaze to the floor, and then place your hands on those blocks or the seat of the chair or books or whatever you have available for you. So we're in warrior 3. Now I want lots of energy through this back leg. Point the toes, flex the toes. Doesn't really matter, but just reach, reach, reach. Lift the belly up and away. One more big breath. And then we're gonna twist the upper body here. So we're moving into a revolved half moon. Lower body stays exactly how it is. You're gonna take your right hand away and start to turn the shoulders Turn the gaze to the side. Big breath in. Exhale, fold everything forward. Ooh, shake it out at the bottom. Find a nice forward fold, pedal the feet. Really good job. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Rise up tall, push into the floor. And hands to heart center. Great job. I think we can do it on the left. I think we can. I know your right leg's tired, so let's give it a break. We'll shift over to the left side. Right arm is going underneath this time. So I'm gonna find that wrap and double bind. Again, lift the elbows away from the heart here as much as you can and let the shoulders drop down. Okay, shifting over to the left, peel the right foot off the floor. Move slow here as you start to bend and cross the legs. If you feel like you're a little wobbly, just pause, take a breath, find that position of the foot where everything's on the floor, outside edge of the foot, big toe pressing in, lift the belly. One more, in and out. Good, and then press into the floor, stand up tall, unbind the arms, reach that right leg out behind you. Again, take your toes to the floor for a little support. Shift your gaze to the floor. Bring your hands to those blocks. Again, you don't have to use the blocks here. And then energy through that back leg. Either point the toes or kick through the heel, whatever you're doing. Feel nice and strong there. Lift the belly. And then reversing the upper body or twisting the upper body here. We're going to take our left hand away. Turn the shoulders. Turn the gaze. Good. Inhale. Reach. Exhale. Fold a little forward. Ooh, shift back and forth a few times. Really nice job. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Rise up tall. And hands to heart center. And back down by your sides. Good. Let's come to the floor and we'll take a couple of seated stretches before we finish with our resting pose. So we're going to start with butterfly stretch here. Bottoms of the feet together. And I like to sit up nice and tall with this one. Hugging the heels in or extending them away from you, whatever feels better on your hips and thighs today. But try to sit up tall. So if you feel like you're rounding through your back, find something that would elevate your hips a little bit, small or flat-ish. Throw pillow or a folded blanket are really good for this type of exercise. Take a deep breath in and then hinge forward here. So I'm reaching my heart forward toward you and I'm pressing my tailbone toward the back of our space. Take a deep breath in again and then exhale, round forward and just invite your spine and your hips, the back of your hips, to become a part of this stretch. Yeah. Good. And so as we kind of fold into this and catch our breath, we're going to make it a little bit more passive by just allowing the arms to be free, release the hands from the feet. And let the spine fold as it wants to. Here, just releasing all those muscles. Good. Last big breath here, in and out. And then start to gently make your way back to a seated position. Maybe bring your hands to your thighs, kind of help yourself back up. We're going to take pigeon pose next here. So from butterfly, I like to just place my knee or my shin at the front of my mat and then shift my hips around. If that doesn't feel comfortable for you, just come back to your tabletop position or plank or downward dog. And we're just pulling our right knee forward and our left leg back. Yeah. So most importantly, you want to make sure that you're not sitting into that right hip. I'm going to demo the other side first so you can see this. So you're not sitting into the hip like that, but you're nice and square. So your shoulders and your hips are both facing the floor here. So in order to help me maintain that, I'm gonna take something and kind of wedge it underneath my leg. That could be, again, a pillow, a blanket, a block, a couple books, whatever you've got. You just wanna help kind of maintain that so you can focus on folding forward and giving yourself a good chance of a nice deep stretch here. So we're working with body weight and gravity in this stretch, kind of allowing our body to be in this position, and then taking some deep breaths and releasing into it. So let's take 5 deep breaths here. We did a lot of work in our legs today, so let's really focus on giving those a good deep stretch. One more breath. And then bring the hands back underneath the shoulders. Take that prep away. And we're gonna move to the other side. You know, you can do that however you feel like you can. If you wanna be active with it, you can tuck the toes. Press that to downward facing dog. Honestly, I really like just sitting into my hip and swinging my legs around. So you do you on that, and get into a position where your opposite leg is coming forward and your opposite leg is going back. So I'm on my right side now. You're on whichever side you didn't do before. And I'm gonna take a block again, slide it underneath my hip. And just get my body positioned here, and then fold forward. Sometimes it's nice to be able to rest your forehead on something else here, so if you like, take another block and then really allow your head and neck to kind of relax into the stretch as well. Sometimes in these stretches, I like to kind of use my breath as a tool to help me release. So as I breathe in, I imagine that my breath is going to the space or the place in my body where I'm feeling the most sensation. And as I exhale, it's kind of taking away, releasing any of the tension that I feel there. So you can really help kind of deepen the stretch if you use your breath to your advantage. One more inhale and exhale here. Good. And then come back up, hands under the shoulders, pressing it high. Take away any preps. We're gonna go to our back. Last. We're rolling all the way down here. Hug your knees into your chest. When you get to your back, maybe rock back and forth. For me, it makes more sense to grab behind my knees and to keep my knees wide. If you like, you can keep them hugging straight in. It just feels a little compressed for me, so I like to make space for myself by just pulling that nice and wide and then rocking back and forth. Let's take happy baby pose here, so you can grab onto your feet or your big toes and pull the knees down, allowing the heels to come up toward the ceiling. If you have a strap, wrap the strap all the way around your feet. You can use a scarf or a belt, whatever you have at home, and then you can hold on to the strap instead of the feet. It's another great alternative for this stretch. All right, go ahead and release the feet back to the floor. I'm going to cross my right ankle over my left knee. And just kind of let my right knee fall open, sway back and forth a few times. And then I'm going to drop my legs over to the left side of my mat. So I'm keeping the shape of the legs here, letting my right hip come off the floor, just releasing. So my right foot is not touching the floor here. Just giving a different kind of twist and stretch. My back. Good, let's come back to center. Release that right ankle, cross the left. Let that left knee fall open. Maybe sway back and forth a few times. And then again, knees coming over to the right side of the mat this time, and you'll see here my foot doesn't quite touch the floor, and that's okay. Just giving a gentle tug into my lower back, maybe a little bit down my left hip. If you haven't already here, just go ahead and let your breath return to a natural pace, an easy pace. Go ahead, let your legs come back to center. And then find a good resting position here for yourself, either legs out straight, or maybe like I'm doing here with my feet to the outside of the mat, knees falling in. We're going to take a few deep breaths here, just resting the body. Let the palms flip up and face the ceiling. This does two things. It opens and relaxes the fronts of your shoulders a little bit. And in yoga, an open palm is a gesture of receiving. So we're just letting ourselves be open to receive and soak in all this good, positive energy that we've cultivated over the last quarter of an hour, 3/4 of an hour. Let your breath fall into a nice natural pace. Let your body sink into the floor.